Guys, I just got a word of understanding in the like a prophetic one right now as I'm busy talking to you guys. You know how I just got a rejection letter in the middle of me doing these videos. God said after she sent you a rejection letter, she sent your application, your essay, to a friend of hers to submit as her own. Like, God just said that to me now. In this short time between the last video that I just recorded and this one, he said, after she sent you a rejection letter, she took your essay that you submitted and gave it to her friend to submit so she could get accepted as a writer on their platform. That woman sabotaged the company that she worked for. She sabotaged the organization that she works for, in order to help a friend that can't write to save her life an academic article. Whoa, okay, cool. It's alright. The Lord will reveal all these things in due season. There's no way that I can prove that this is true, but this is what God just told me in the spirit, into my spiritual understanding, that the woman who just rejected my transcript gave the very paper that I wrote. It was a paper on free will where I was doing an analysis between Berkeley, Locke, and Hobbes, and she has given it to her friend and said what they do there is they give you 3 papers to write. You can choose out of the 3, and I chose the one on free will versus determinism. I wrote that because it just worked out for me. I didn't want to write about social media or America being compared to Rome or whatever, and she gave it from what the Lord showed. In fact, I had a dream, a nightmare that I woke up from, where there were these 2 white ladies that were persecuting me, and I didn't understand who they were. But now it's coming together. You know, she just gave her friend my essay to submit. Shoot, guys, these things are an abomination to the Lord, the condemnation of the righteous and the acquittal of the wicked. Unequal scales are an abomination before Emmanuel. She just gave somebody else my blessed. Guys, I worked all day on that essay. I researched it for about half a day and wrote it for yet another half a day, and she gave it to her friend to submit. Oh my goodness, like, I'm kind of hurt, but I guess, you know, these are the things that are happening. The Lord is omniscient, guys. He is not blind to anything. The fact that he just told me this tells me that that is not a door he wanted to open for me anyway. Let's move back to the topic of discussion at hand right now, okay? Let's just like glide right by this ludicrous discovery. I already spoke at length about the other guy. Now the second dude that the Lord has shown me has compromised. He is not an American. He's from Nigeria, and he had a YouTube channel that was struggling for a minute. He at some point was very fervently serving God, and he was very serious. He has a website that he did most of his work on, and then he migrated over to YouTube, and then somewhere along the way, from what God showed me, he had an issue financially that compromised the ability for him to continue to provide for his wife and children. And this man hoped to finance his life using YouTube because he was growing on there, but they stopped him or something in that regard, and they knocked on his door. Quite a prolific prophetic gifting. He's a dreamer and a seer just like me, and he's been running a very reaching ministry for years. And I found him when I was underground, basically living in Naturina, struggling, suffering. And I downloaded one of his YouTube videos at my apartment. It wasn't an apartment, the room that I was living in at the back of my uncle's house. I've been living at back rooms for a minute now. Anyway, whatever, yeah, that's when I met the guy. And at the time, he had about 1,400 subscribers on YouTube. That was about 4 years ago. Well, guys, I recently found him again on YouTube, and I was like, oh, here's this guy that I used to follow a whole bunch when I was in Naturina, and he is now currently sporting just under 70,000 subscribers. Well, that could have been organic growth, but according to Jesus, it wasn't. According to the Lord, he did not grow organically. He sold out. This guy, nobody would believe it, that he would ever sacrifice himself. There was one time when he gave a testimony where he said that because so many people have been seeing hell, visions of hell, he begged God and fasted like no man's business to give him a vision of hell, and the Lord punished him for that by indeed giving him a vision of hell, but he was like in a whole bunch of agony and pain, and God said to him, don't ever do this. Don't ever ask to see hell. I only show it to whomever I will. Don't beg me for it. And don't fast and starve your body for it. Don't do this. And he was rebuked and he stopped, like, asking God for such things, right? He just wanted a supernatural experience and God rebuked him. Well, recently he's been uploading a whole bunch of content where he speaks about how having spent 24 hours in hell, 34 hours in hell, 3 days in hell. And I'm like, but aren't you the dude that begged God to give you a hell vision? He gave you one and it freaked you out until he told you to stop. And now all of a sudden he's giving you a whole bunch of them. Where is that video where God rebuked you about hell in comparison to all these others ones about hell? Recently, he prophesied about, and you know, he used to be accurate as well in terms of prophecy. He went from prophesying about the rapture being yes at the door. He's very much into eschatology type establishment thing, but you know, cautioning people that we might still have some time left here. But these days when he rocks up, he just tells people flat out it's happening, and God has just made it clear that it's happening. And then the next day he'll rock up and be like, but guys, you know, this is what God is showing me. There might just be a revival. We need to pray. We need to do this. And then he also went into some deep, dark, dingy portion of Christianity that loves to say that women need to cover themselves up, their faces mustn't be seen, they must have no jewelry, they must wear no makeup. Like, I don't subscribe to that section of Christianity at all. I've got piercings on my face, for crying out loud. So for me, it's like those are guys that are like trying to make Christ look like a Pharisee, and he just ain't. Very, very legalistic. He never used to be legalistic like that. He was pragmatic with the faith, much like a, you know, a little bit of a John MacArthur. Yeah, no, the dude went from pragmatism, however, within sound biblical veracity, Christianity, to now you must cover your head, you must cover your eyes, you must basically make like a Muslim in the Middle East wearing a hijab, or Muslim woman. This is a man. What happens with them when they compromise is that they start to magnify laws in people's lives to follow them instead of the grace of God. Like, because they are guilty, they feel as if though if they can just keep on preaching holiness a whole bunch to a point of punting, a very legalistic version of holiness, where, for instance, women just basically need to rock up like this on social media. If at all they come outside, they must be wearing skirts all the way down to their ankles, dresses all the way, parachute dresses all the way down to their ankles, and they mustn't even show even like, you know, a knee, because then, goodness gracious, like, whoa, hell. Yeah, they go from being reasonable to being like that. And this dude went like literally that's a far extreme of I watched him back in the days when he was still holding on to Jesus all pure, and I'm seeing now the difference in his ministry, and I thought nothing of it until I got this wicked, nefarious nightmare last night about him. And in this dream, this guy was having an affair with another woman. He was having an affair with a woman that was not his wife. And this woman did not want to fornicate with him. She didn't want to have sex with him. But she would humor his advances because he was paying her way. He was paying for her, like, you know, expenses, like things like her. She was living in a similar situation to me, like really struggling, family treating her badly. And she needed basic things like, you know, shampoo, skincare creams, and, you know, like tampons. And this guy was providing these things for her. He was not setting her up in like an apartment of her own, like not that kind of extramarital affair where your mistress is completely catered to. You've got borrow a car, but he had an affair with a lowly woman who was struggling, that was of his church, of his same convictions, like Christian. Do you understand? And he was busy paying for her expenses that are mild, however, not big things. You know, like I said, he maybe every so often bought her underwear type establishment thing. And she did not want to have sex with him because she was chaste. She didn't want to have sex with him because she was chaste in Christ, and she imagined him as one who was providing for her because he's a man of God. But she ended up realizing that he wants more from her than that he feels robbed by her, that all these provisions, like him just continuing to give her this money, is annoying him because he's now got feelings for her, and he wants her to put out. So he, in the dream, started to shun her. He started to treat her like, you are a burden on me, especially considering there's nothing in it for me. And so the woman in my dream started to feel like she doesn't want to lose his support. He left her in a hotel after she refused to have sex with him, but she was left in that hotel bed feeling like, okay, maybe if I had slept with him, he would have stayed because I need him. She just felt in the dream like she really needed him. But all along, he appeared to be okay with her not wanting to do anything with him sexually. But he started to show aggression towards her that he wasn't getting that in return. So he is essentially a Janus and Jambres now, worming his way into 2 Timothy 3, go read it, worming his way into the life of weak-willed women. He is helping a woman in his church that is actually suffering and struggling right now, and because she believed him a man of God, she imagined that he would not ask anything of her, and he has started to get aggressive against her because she's not reciprocating sexually with him. He left in the dream, storming off, threatening to leave this woman destitute, and mind you, in the dream he was cloaked in nothing, shrouded in nothing but pitch black clothes. This is a man, this is one of what I imagine to be one of the holiest men I knew online. He's like a Ravi Zacharias. He has got a secret life, a double life, and he is actively cheating on his wife, and he has no conviction concerning that. Whatever he did transformed his character. I don't know if he thinks he's going to heaven or if he's given up altogether, so he just feels he might as well just, the rest of the days that he has left on the earth act of food. But he is far more licentious and lascivious even than the other one that I mentioned from the United States of America. That one from the US is duping himself into thinking he's still saved. This one, I think, is aware that he's lost now. And it's made him just a menace. He's like Rav. You know all the secrets that came out with Ravi Zacharias after he died? Yeah, this dude is like a Ravi. He's a sexual predator, and he is exploiting women in the church. I, for the life of me, could not believe it. Just a couple of days ago, I had come out of watching a video of his on YouTube where he was warning that the Lord said that the rapture is at the door. So the reason that I'm now second guessing that the rapture is tomorrow versus in 10 years is because I really held on to his prophecy because he's always just been so good with Christ. And God showed me that he was a charlatan. He is currently a charlatan. Next part, guys.